You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Face to face.
Oh,
go
good.
ahead, sir. This film. Tell me something about this film.
I think the odds in this movie. The odds that.
Odds.
Well, I just. Obviously, it's fiction. The writer can write whatever she wants in the books.
Yep.
But the fact that she volunteers because her sister gets picked.
Yeah.
Because the second she said that, and I've never read the book, and obviously you know for a fact that her little sister isn't going to be in the games because she's the big get, she's on all the posters. But the second she says, if someone goes in this completely blind, knows nothing, absolutely zero about this movie, the second she tells her little sister, well, you've only had your name in the list once, you'll never get picked. You know she's getting picked.
Right. Now, you said you haven't read the book, sir?
No.
I haven't read it either. You know why?
Because I'm not 12.
Because we're not kids. And as you know, it's become customary for me to every episode to alienate a portion of our listening audience. And
we're going to alienate kids?
And I'm not doing it enough because apparently our bandwidth keeps going higher. So I need to knock that down a bit. So if you're listening and you've read the book, the series, if you read, I'll even say the series, forget the first one. If you've read the first one, I read the first 4 chapters of the first one because I got it as a review copy.
Okay.
I stopped because it didn't hold my interest because, go figure, I'm a fucking adult. This society, we've hit a snag now where the intelligence level is dropping at an alarming rate. And if you're an adult and you're reading teen fiction for entertainment, you're fucked. You need to reevaluate your life as an adult. If I sat around watching cartoons all day, I would be criticized. Same fucking thing. And that's where I'm going to draw. Now, if you occasionally go back and read children's fiction, I'm not going to knock anyone for saying, I went back and reread Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, that was a classic work of literature.
Right.
It was a great kid's book. If you're reading contemporary teen fiction for entertainment, if you're over 20 and you bought a ticket for this film because you read the books, fuck you. You're what's wrong with this country. You're what's wrong with America. And you're what's wrong with our society today. Now that I've gotten that out of the way.
Considering that the film made $150 million its opening weekend, I'm going to say there's maybe a couple in their 20s that went to go see it because they read the books.
Right. So now that 10 to 15% of our audience have turned off their iPods in disgust, we can continue.
Just so everyone knows, I still love you.
Well, that goes without saying. You proved it.
Right now, I have in the background.
Hey,
I have
Joey. Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it. You said you love me. Prove it.
Oh, later.
Prove it. Somebody I was talking to. They listened to that episode before the Oscar show.
Yeah.
I was like, I like the show. I listened to this one. Say, that's good. You can skip the next one and go right on to the one after that, though. There's nothing in there. I'm actually telling people not to listen to that episode.
Oh, God.
Don't listen. If you're listening now and you haven't listened to the Oscar show, don't bother. There's nothing there worth listening to.
Yeah, just go right to the 2-hour and 40-minute mark.
No, you don't want to even listen to it. Go
right, episode 63.
Not even worth listening to.
I think that's the Oscar episode.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
I couldn't even remember it because that's
that was one of those episodes that got downloaded like 1,000 times in April.
I don't even understand why, because there's no entertainment value to that show whatsoever. And neither will the video once you finally finish editing that.
Yeah, I do plan on doing that. Just
I know you do.
Cutting it all together into one nice little. You gave me permission.
Yes, I did, because I too am a whore.
And what I also want to do is take the last 20 minutes of audio and like cut that down to like maybe 5 or 7 minutes and make that an outtake. First time on Moviesucktastic. Scott obstructs.
And as I told you, the title for both of those should be Moviesucktastic, Scott's Shame.
I really have to cut. I have to cut sound bites from that episode.
No, you
so
don't.
Instead of me just saying it, I could have just played the audio clip for everybody.
you really don't need to do that.
No, I do. I really do.
So, Hunger Games.
But real quick, what I have going on in the background, because obviously the movie is still in theaters. Yes, it is all around you.
Okay.
There's a flame right above your head. It's on fire. It's that stupid Mockingjay thing that she wears that won't bring her harm. Anyway,
it's nice to have a symbol that has nothing really to do with anything. It's just there.
You being into politics as much as you are, obviously you've heard of Alex Jones.
Oh yeah, Alex Jones. He's the conspiracy guy that conspiracy theorists hate.
Yeah, he's talking about the new world. What he's talking about is the Hunger Games, and that's the video I have on in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's he saying? What's his main gist about it?
Just basically that all the actors in the film, specifically Jennifer Lawrence, because she's doing the movie, she's accepting the new world, that the new world order, which because the film takes place 100 years in the future, and we're going in that direction. And yeah, this guy's an asshole.
Well,
I found this video. I found it amusing, and obviously it's on in the background without any sound. But people get the gist. They can watch the video. He puts things on the screen. It's just absurd. Completely absurd.
The basic gist with Alex Jones, all you need to know is that what he does is he there's a market out there for conspiracy theorists.
Right.
And he's like the Michael Savage.
Fine. Okay.
He just finds anything. Remember that review I did of The Last Dragon, or that cartoon with the kid that rode the dragon? What was that called? That was called.
That was How to Train Your Dragon.
Train Your Dragon. And I did the review as Glenn Beck, talking about the whole thing was a coded message, pro-terrorist coded.
Yes.
That's what Alex Jones does for a living. What I did there, which was an absurdist take on
it was
non-existent. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are serious about what they do hate him because he pretends to be serious and it's a complete joke.
Okay.
Anyway,
do you want to do a basic plot structure of this, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I mean, the basic story is it's some kind of weird future where there was an uprising of some kind. I'm guessing rich against poor, poor against rich, and the uprising didn't take. And so now there's 12 districts.
And they picked 2 contestants from each district.
I wish we could have gone to the District 9. That would have been a cool one. and what happens is every year they have a lottery. The whole and here's the genius of this sci-fi tale. This is why it's geared towards teenagers, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. This totalitarian state has decided the way to keep the masses docile is to every year round up 24 of their children and kill them.
Yeah.
But not just kill them, but make a TV show out of it and make it fun and make them kill each other. And for some reason, this is seen as entertainment on either side. And
well, one of the things that they actually talk about too with the characters, they say, well, why don't we just not watch? If we don't watch, they don't have a show, and if they don't have a show, they won't do this annore.
Well, but again,
and it's not that simple, because if you break it down, us as a society, people just love watching other people's misery. Why do you think there's so many goddamn reality shows that are just pure garbage?
Well, and it's a morbid curiosity too.
Well,
but the problem is, it's a teen novel, so what you have here is you have philosophical debate on a very base level. Like all he's saying is the old adage of "What if you threw a war and nobody came?" And no one's ever said that and not gotten laughed at because it's dumb.
Well, yes.
Because why do they go? Well, in some states they'll kill you if you don't go to war. So yeah, that's why they went to war. And you believe the propaganda. And sometimes the war is actually a good thing. I hate to admit that. So I mean, and everything about this film is a base level of philosophy or political debate. It's the whole thing about they're TV's, it's just exploitation for the masses, and they're exploiting us and making us watch our own demise on television. That kind of reminds me of Everybody Loves Raymond, but it's taken to such an illogical extreme, and it's supposed to make us say, yeah, that's just like reality TV today. No, it's not. It's not Meet the Kardashians, and
I wish they would do a Hunger Games with them.
Well, that's a whole different thing. You just wish somebody would kill them on television.
I don't care how.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a game. You could just lock them in a room with no water for a week. I know.
I should say that. That's terrible. But
I know, and now it's on tape.
I find them so. The entertainment
honestly,
value is just it's not there. I can't stand reality shows. You can't stand them.
Perfectly honest, no joking. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup right now. I have no idea who you're talking about. I know in the pop culture sense, I know who they are. I know they have a show. I could not. If I met one on the street, I wouldn't know who the hell it was.
I only can because I like the show. I like the show The Soup.
Yeah.
Hosted by Joel McHale, and I just think that's just a brilliant show where he takes everything I hate about TV and reality shows and the media, and he puts it in a nice, half an hour show and makes fun of it for the trash and the crap, the shit that it is.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I know who the fuck they are.
Which is why
they get made fun of on a weekly basis.
Which is why you would watch The Hunger Games.
Not me personally.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Which is why you would watch something that's exploiting you, because even then there's an entertainment value in watching something you don't like.
Oh, sure.
Right. But again, everything now. The fact that in the book, obviously, to some extent, has the same shallow, basic philosophical quandaries, because the Christian community leaped right on it. They love it. Oh. The simplistic philosophy, we're there, and like right down to the whole idea. They draw parallels between, and I'm not sure if it was meant intentionally or not. Who knows at this point? I mean, I'd have to read something about the author, and I don't care to. There's a whole thing where. In the book, as opposed to the movie, when she finds PETA. Well, yeah, which I guess he doesn't eat meat. She finds him wounded. Right, she finds him wounded, and she buries him for 3 days in a cave, and then brings him back. When she digs him up, he's better. So it's the whole resurrection of Christ kind of thing going, and they draw all these weird parallels to make it say.
So much like the Stephanie Meyer novels of Twilight, where it's, what religion was that? Was that
Twilight? Oh, yeah, Protestant. Was it Protestant?
I don't know what it was, but they don't have sex, and it's just fucking shit.
Well, if you go back to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that was all pro-Christian. That was really blatant Christianity.
Well, what's funny too? That first film that came out was monster success, 300 million almost, 65 billion. Then the sequels come out, and they didn't care anymore. They got their one movie, and that's all they cared about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got. Oh, this is our Lord of the Rings. Good, enjoy it. Yeah. And well, then the Golden Compass came out, and that was the anti-Christianity one. So every time they
didn't do well at all.
No, well, I haven't seen it. For all I know, it actually is crap. Who knows?
I did see little bits and pieces of it. They CGI the cat. It's enough said. She's petting this cat, and it's CGI'd. Sorry.
Enough said. No, enough said.
Enough said.
Yeah. So you've got that going on. The whole film is basically this totalitarian government takes these children, makes them play in a game. The parents have to watch, and we follow these two characters who are supposed to be redeeming in some way, and we're supposed to be interested in their lives and care about them and hope they survive. And I don't. And at the end, spoiler alert, they survive. And
well, you know what? If you don't see that coming,
then you're a teenage audience.
Well, yeah, that is true. There's a part in the film where they make it because there's only supposed to be one winner, and they make an announcement because.
Well, this is a major spoiler. We're going to just destroy everything here. So
yeah, just if you're listening and you do want to see this film, just and I would never tell anyone to do this, but you may want to, come back to this episode. Turn it off.
They won't because here's the deal. Most of the people that want to see this film read the book. Most of the people most people that were dragged to the film don't want to see it in the first place. And if you I'm going to tell you right now, if you have no real desire to see the film, then what we're telling you isn't going to ruin it for you because it's so predictable.
Very.
Having not read the book, I can't say there was any shocks. Right. It's a very formulaic film.
When they make the announcement where they say we have suspended the one winner, now two from as long you can have two winners as long as they're from the same district.
Right.
So you can't have one from District 12, one from District 6. That doesn't happen.
That's because they're playing with the popularity because the audiences are loving.
That's the whole Romeo and Juliet aspect.
Here's not having read the book. Here's where I start to have this comes into the Daybreakers kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right. Where it doesn't make any fucking sense. Not having read the book, and I've read a lot of stuff where the book goes a lot deeper into a lot of things. Great, maybe it does. We're talking about the film.
Yes.
In the film, they make a big deal because the whole idea is they're becoming these. It's like what was the first survival? It's not survival. Just beat me with a stick.
Help me out, dude.
The first reality show.
Oh, Survivor.
It's like Survivor. Each person becomes a personality on the show, and it's almost like you're not voting people off.
Right.
But the more you're liked, the more you're supposed to get sponsors. Now, they allude to the sponsors and never really explain it fully. They just say you get sponsors by being liked. And sponsors give you supplies to help you make the game. And the supplies can be the difference between life and death. So it's important for you to be liked and be popular on the show because these sponsors could save you. They don't explain who the sponsors are, if it's just audience or if it's specific rich people who are involved in the show.
They do show Woody Harrelson at one point in the film just talking and laughing and giggling with what looks to be wealthy people, and the next thing you know, she's got medicine in whatever the futuristic container is that they just leave for her in the forest.
But again, it's very vague on the process.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it might go deeper in the book, but
right. So, but here's my question, and here's the point, and I'm shaking the camera because I'm. Here's the point. He makes up all this thing. The more they'll give you matches and water and things like this. So basic survival. Right. He's not talking about like the little capsules they drop down a couple times to save her life because she's getting so popular and they're rigging the game. Surprise, surprise. But was that on camera?
Okay,
yes, it was. But he don't make me laugh at my own joke. That's not funny.
It's funny to me.
He makes this huge point of saying, make the sponsors like you, and you get more stuff. Then when the game starts, and they're all brought up to the island or to the starting point,
forest or some shit.
All the stuff, all the supplies that they can get is just piled in front of them in this huge death trap. Where if they run to get it, it just turns into a bloodbath fight.
Yeah, that's how
that's
how it starts.
So if all the supplies you can get comes down to a snatch and grab, run for your life situation at the beginning of the game, what the fuck do you care about sponsors? What? Where did it come? I mean, what sense does it make?
It doesn't.
It
truly doesn't.
It really, she got no, besides, and again, they dropped the medicine and stuff down to them because they're so popular at that point. Yeah, because they're being followed and they're being enjoyed in the show. But that had nothing to do with like half of the setup at the beginning. And again, he's talking about matches and little things like that. So, no, you're not. There's just bags there, and the guy with the big stick's going to kill you if you try to get it.
One of the things while watching the film.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed is not at one point during the movie did I feel anything towards any of the characters.
No character development whatsoever.
No character development. I felt nothing for them. The film flowed in such a way that you don't feel anything for the film either. Because when you see a truly good movie, you might get that little pit in your stomach where it's like, I'm watching a really good film. I'm really enjoying it.
I am beholding greatness.
Yeah, right.
Like you say to
You
yourself,
you feel none of that.
you even you watch a film, you think, I'm gonna remember this. Like you just take it in. You're drinking it in. You can't. It's like, oh, please don't let it. Just give me everything you got. And this
Right.
film is just
There's
let it happen.
nothing in this film. Not that I'm expecting, groundbreaking, filmmaking here, but there's nothing in this film that goes anywhere near what you would expect from a movie that makes 150 million its opening weekend.
Yeah, I read one review that was really great where they said, I saw the film and I walked out of it and was like, okay, so why is everyone raving about this?
The only thing I can commend them for is the fact that they didn't make it in 3D. Truly.
It's probably just a time constraint issue. I'm sure if they could have, they would have.
Well, I'm sure that they could probably take the film and do it later.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets released in 3D when it hits Blu-ray.
Oh, that's the re-release in 3D before the second film comes out. That's what they'll do.
Yeah, maybe they will.
Yeah.
Taking a note out of Lucas's book.
And and you mentioned the whole idea. There's nothing that really draws you through the film. Now, there's no tension in the film either, unless you count the shaky cam.
Yeah, and they do that a little bit.
A little bit.
Well,
here's
not done a tremendous amount, but it's done enough. We'll
a tip.
Put it that way.
It's bad when you use shaky cam in an action scene. It's really bad when you use shaky cam during a prolonged dialogue sequence. They're talking, and the camera's like, so they're fucking talking.
They're trying to build tension. They do it during the violent scenes because...
You know how you build tension? Plot and character development. Not at the dinner table. So how do we survive?
They do it during the death scenes because, from what I understand, the books are supposed to be much more violent than what the film is producing, because they want that PG-13. Yeah,
and you're touching my main problem with the film, and I've read a lot of reviews that felt the same way about this, and I'm glad I'm not alone here.
Right.
It's a film about violence. It's a film where the plot is they take kids and make them kill each other, and there is no real violence in this film. It is sterile violence.
Right.
The big scene where they all get together and like half of them are killed in the big opening of the show, where half of them kill each other.
Right.
And they do a quick.
And it's got that shaky cam.
It's like epileptic shaky cam. They just put it on a bungee cord and threw it all over the place, and then it's quick cuts, and you don't see any real violence. You just get the impression.
You see glimpses of things with blood on it.
Glimpses of blood
and people raising their arms in a stabbing type motion and a bludgeoning type motion.
And the impression that people are dying, and they take the sound out too, so you can't even hear screams or anything. And this is supposed to make us be afraid or tension that, oh, bad stuff's happening. No, you're not. All you're doing is saying violence happened, and then you're making the violence so non-violent that I don't care.
No, you want to see violence? You want to see a film? Watch the opening 5 minutes to Battle Royale. I'm not supposed to kill anyone. I'm not supposed to participate.
Well, that's not actually the opening 5 minutes. The opening 5 minutes is where they have the survivor from the last game, where it's a little girl.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to get in a little bit to that part.
But that's what, 10 minutes in then?
Yeah, like the whole...
they round them up.
That introduction sequence would beat Takashi. That's just like... Oh! Okay, that sticks. Well, and beyond that, even the violence... When you go into the film further, I mean, now... Let's talk about... I made notes on this because I want to make sure I underline my point here. I
got notes too.
Okay, you want to go ahead with some of your... Do you have any notes about... Tell you what, let's pair our notes here.
All right, let's do that.
Do you have any notes about archery?
Archery? No, I don't.
I want to mention one thing. I read an article that says since the film has come out, archery lessons have spiked.
Of course they have. Just like everyone wanted a goddamn owl when fucking Harry Potter was released.
And just like everybody wanted...
I'm sorry, little Stevie, you can't have an owl. It will claw your fucking eyes out.
Right, and just like everyone wanted Skittles after a black kid got shot by a...
Oh!
My point is... Thank you for
mentioning... Although you're right, Skittles sales have gone up.
They did go up because it's called trending, and the bellwether in a trending experience does not have to be a positive thing.
Right.
It could be a negative thing. It can be a neutral thing. It's just something that grabs people's attention. She has a bow and arrow, and it's like all you archery teachers out there that are thrilled, great, because these, if you know how quickly kids lose interest in things they get interest in.
Right.
You better sell them 1-year memberships now because they'll be dropping out after 2 months and their fingers start hurting. So
God, you kidding? They're not going to be able to bend back a bow at age 12.
They have lighter tensions. It's a teen novel, not 12. We're talking 14, 16. Let's be fair.
Well, I'm talking about taking archery lessons at 12 years old.
I don't know why you're doing that.
You probably don't have the upper body strength to pull back a bow.
No one mentioned 12-year-olds, so I don't know why you're talking about 12. I'm talking about teenagers. You can make shit up if you want.
You can talk about teenagers all you want. I know how you like them.
Hey.
You did see Twilight with one, didn't you?
That's neither here. Well, the place was full of.
I'm totally fucking with you.
The place was full of teenagers. They were everywhere.
Yeah, and you're a full grown man with a beard.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, baby, how you digging this? Digging this Twilight movie? You like it?
I was interviewing teenage girls.
You were. And anyone that wants to watch that video, please go to YouTube and do a search for Moviesucktastic. Which, by the way, that site has been that site has just been killing it in the internet world.
Really,
our we got, and this might not be as impressive and maybe some other websites, but we got 500,000 player views on our Moviesucktastic YouTube page. Mostly because of the erotica website, the erotica show that we went to.
Which I am going back to this year.
You know what? I'm going with you.
Really? Well, if you can't make it, I'm going alone. But
I it's good for the show.
Now, speaking of teenage girls.
Yes.
I need to tell the story real quick because it came up. I had a reading last week, and afterwards we went up to a bar. And someone mentioned first, I forget how it got around to it, but I had to tell the story that the first time I ever used a bong.
Oh, okay.
And I was at a party. It was a birthday party. And I was like 35, 36, 35.
Not that long ago.
I was in mid-30s, yeah. And I was taught to use the bong in my mid-30s by this teenage girl.
Okay.
And at the time I said, isn't this funny? To the teenager, I say, isn't this funny? I'm being taught how to use a bong in my 30s by a teenage girl. And she looked up at me, and because we were on the stairs and she was holding it, so there's nothing weird going on. And she looks up at me and she says, literally, not even joking around, says, I'm 16. I've done a lot of stuff. Not 16. It was 18. It was 18. So I'm 18. I don't know why I said 16. It was 18. So I'm 18.
I was hoping you were going to correct yourself. Let's just put it that way.
At least I didn't say 12 like you keep saying.
You know what? I didn't share a bong with a 12-year-old, so I got nothing to worry about.
There you go. I was like, I'm 18. I've done a lot of stuff. It's like, and I'm 35 and I haven't.
Holy shit.
There you go. And that was interesting. Anyway,
back to the movie.
All right. Do you have any notes on? I've got. I mentioned the sponsor thing. You have any other logic problems with the film that you don't?
Logical? I mean, again, we're 100 years in the future and everyone's got funny facial hair and fucking weird costumes. Well, what the fuck is that?
Oh, Dr. Seuss is more subtle.
Yeah, right. Stanley Tucci's got fucking cap teeth and blue hair.
Stanley.
And I like Stanley Tucci.
I love Stanley Tucci.
And I could even almost say I like him in this movie if I can look past the teeth and the hair, because he does these subtle little things, because he's the interviewer of all of the kids, the MC.
He's the right.
And the only thing I keep thinking about is the fucking Running Man.
A lot of people are making similarities to Running Man.
I didn't know that. That's just my generalization of it. I'm just thinking Running Man every fucking time.
Well, actually, when the book came out and people were criticizing her for ripping off the Battle Royale, which was a book before it was a movie,
right?
Stephen King came to her defense and said, "You know what? It's reminiscent of Running Man too. I mean, this is not a new concept of the whole game show thing,
right?
I did that back in I wrote that how many years ago?
Yeah, early '80s. It was made into a film in '87, I believe.
It's like as much as 86. I may not like Stephen King as a writer, at this point in my life, I still like the guy. He's still a cool guy. I can't not like him.
Stephen King?
Yeah.
I'd have a beer with him. You kidding? I'd have a beer with him and I talk about Shawshank, The Mist, and The Green Mile. All night long. I would talk about just those three.
I talk politics with Stephen King. He just seems like a really
I'm sure we could do that. But if I was going to pick his brain about movies and books, those are three and they're all Frank Darabont films, surprisingly enough. probably 3 of the most well-made Stephen King
Don't get me on this.
to film.
Don't get me on this. Let's just do an episode on Stephen King then, because you're going to get me on the best and worst lists there, and I'm going to be stuck. I can't talk about Stephen King.
You're denying that those 3.
No, I just saying I can't talk about it now because it'll end up being a half-hour conversation. We could do a whole episode on Stephen King.
I understand.
The next time a StephenKing film comes out, let's just do a whole episode on Stephen King films because we can spill 2 hours doing that.
Breathe.
But there's a microphone there. Yeah. Again, the whole idea of simplified philosophy.
Somebody, real quick, the religion for Twilight was Mormons, and somebody had said "Real World MTV asswipe." Basically, they were correcting me in saying that the religion was Mormons and that the reality TV show was the Real World, and that I'm an asswipe.
No, they're fucking wrong because that wasn't a real game. I meant game show, reality game show, which was Survivor. That was the first big one to start.
Right. Well, I was just talking about reality TV in general.
Yeah, well, even then, like MTV, yeah, give the Real World all the credit you want. It was just a bunch of stupid kids talking, and they do that in other shows too. Yeah. The Survivor was the first one that turned it into a game.
Although back then, when the Real World came out, it was a lot better than the drivel that they had. They could try and consider reality TV now. Totally
inconsequential to what I'm saying.
It is.
Which is when we're talking about the Hunger Games, Survivor was the first real reality game show that has that kind of.
Yes, it was, and it was killing the ratings every week. Killing 40 million viewers every week. Oh. I mean, just like crazy.
I watched the first half of the first episode.
Oh, really?
Because I all I heard was Survivor. They put people on an island and make them do stuff. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. They're going to take 12 strangers and put them on an island and make them do challenges. It'd be great. And I watched the first one, and they got to the first challenge, and it was like, bring your luggage. I was like, excuse me? I thought they were just going to grab 12 people, just like give them sticks and tell them, okay, now you have to build a fire. Now that's the entire Discovery Channel reality show. So they have like 12 Survivor Man shows that do that. But so that turned me off immediately. I never watched it again. But talk about getting back to that, talk about your simplified philosophy. I am a pro hate the rich people person.
Movies with rich people problems are one of your caveats.
I'm pro Occupy movement. I'm big on the political angle as far as that. Don't get me started. And so I should love this movie. I should love the whole thing because it's demonizing the upper class and the elites that are manipulating and exploiting the lower class. And it does it to such an extreme, imbecilic extent that I can't get behind this. Really, everybody's wearing powdered wigs and effeminate. And again, so everything's effeminate. Everything's like kind of gay. and so that's supposed to be the bad thing, that everybody's so dressed up. We're going back to 17th century, or pick a century because I'm not good on history. Pick a century where all the guys wear wigs and powdered.
Go with 19th century.
19th, really? That soon? No, yeah.
Yeah, 1800s, sure.
Right. Oh, there you go.
The number, you got to go back.
They moved it one.
When you say 20, you really mean the 19. It's
fucking 21. Mathematicians ruin everything.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird.
The 19th century. Shut the fuck up. The year 2000 is really, the millennium is really not for another year because, you just suck the fun out of everything.
Everyone was doing the millennium thing. It's like, it's not till 2001. Is the millennium?
I didn't do that. I was like, shut the fuck up. That says 2000. That's a round number. We're celebrating it. That's when everybody dies. But now it's this month, apparently. I should be right behind it. I should be saying, that's, hit it to the elites. It's like, this is even worse. It's even worse than Day of the Land of the Dead.
Oh.
It's like, give me an elite society that makes sense, where that's not just based on costumes.
Right.
As far as I can tell, the whole economy of Panem, I think that was the name Panem, the entire economy has to be based on silly costumes and hairstylists. I don't know what else, and technology that create bears out of nothing.
Yeah, that was just so silly. And what is with the 3-screen? It's like 3 LCD screens or just big TV screens, 3 of them. Mm-hmm. Every single time they did anything, there was always 1, 2, 3. When it was on any of the characters, when it was on the chairman, the president, whoever, Donald Sutherland's character was always just 1.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
but
again, this is why all sci-fi sucks to a certain degree, because everything, especially if you get out of books and get into film, it's even worse.
right.
You can hold on to some kind of legitimacy in a novel sci-fi, but when you get into film sci-fi sucks because what happens is set designers get involved and clothing designers get involved, and they're not scientists and they don't know anything about reality and like how things actually trend. They only know about design.
Right.
So when they walk into that first big room of theirs, so here's where you're gonna be staying, and you see the dining room chairs and they're like that accordion green that goes all around the shape, and all you can think of is, of course they are, because obviously in the future the chairs have to be different.
Oh yeah. I mean,
of course the chairs have to be.
this could have been one of those scenarios where we could have just made a list of futuristic container. Oh, futuristic this. Oh, futuristic that. I mean, it was one of those films.
It's not even that much because they're not even futuristic. They're just redesigned. It's all just. I mean, I can guarantee
They're meant to be different because it's 100 years in the future. Blah blah blah.
This is a film that's going to get an Oscar nom for at least best costume or best art design.
Probably.
That
I wouldn't disagree with.
Yeah,
I really
mean,
wouldn't.
When what's her name walks up and the first time you see her and she's all painted up and she's standing up there. Elizabeth Banks is like, he's like, oh really? This is where we're going with this, and like that's bad enough. And then you go into the whole city where everybody's like a fancy lad.
Yep.
And
fancy lad.
Yeah, everybody's a fancy lad.
God, I hate those fancy lads.
Want to buy a monkey? and everything's over designed and everything's just it's like watching a 70s sci-fi film. Like you watch Prisoner back then, and everything's round and everything.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's fucking silly. It's always silly, and they do it just for aesthetic value, and it just detracts from the whole idea. And then when you don't have any substance behind what this elite society is, here's another question for you, sir.
I'm listening.
The districts are starving.
They are.
They're all starving, right?
They are.
The rich part, Panem, or the rich center of the city.
Yeah.
They're got food coming everywhere, right?
They do.
Where are they growing the food? I'm assuming in the districts.
Yeah. I don't know why they're starving then.
But then why are they starving? And here's a question for you. If they're starving...
And when, like, say she catches a deer, she was going to sell it. She wasn't going to eat it herself.
Well...
And I don't understand where money has any value anyway. I would imagine just, food and water, that holds more value than anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
they don't really go into it.
Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss.
Katniss, which is the stupidest name I ever heard.
It's even stupider when you know why she's called Katniss.
Why she's called Katniss?
Katniss is a kind of edible grass or something, and its genus name or whatever is another word that's Latin for arrowhead. Get it?
Because she's got a bow and arrow, sure.
Because when she was born, her mother said, "You're gonna fucking kill at archery." Or it was just a really weird coincidence. I don't know. Maybe it was fate.
In the book, it would have to be.
Maybe it was a smart-ass writer that wanted to make teenage audiences feel clever.
Maybe
found out,
but I would say that that is more appropriate.
Here's my question for you.
Did that, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, here's my question for you.
Okay.
Famine, right?
Yeah.
Or close to it. Everyone's, she's killing like
squirrels.
Right. No food. A loaf of bread is like a luxury.
Yeah. Sure. That opening, well, not opening, but one of the scenes in the film where one of the guys that she knows comes by with a piece of bread. It's like, is this real?
Right.
It's like, yeah, it better be real.
Which means there's counterfeit bread floating around, which I don't doubt. and
synthetic bread.
People are putting additional copies of their children's names in the pool just so they can get extra rations. Let me ask you this. Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
She look like she's missing any meals?
No. No. Very curvy.
They bring her up. They put her in that dress. It's like, all right, this is not a girl that's been surviving on squirrel meat and goat cheese. This is not a girl who sees a loaf of bread and goes, "What the hell's that?" No, this girl's eating.
Yeah. She's very curvy.
There's no hunger in everybody. Even there wasn't one contestant, maybe the skinny kid that gets the head snapped. There wasn't one contestant who was like, there's a kid who's really, really desperate for a hot meal. Not one of them.
Right. No, not any of them.
Now,
although the what was it? I don't remember what district it was, but they were
like
saying
the higher up districts, like 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, they were saying that they train for this and they win almost every year. I'm
Because
sure the district, whatever they have, as far as food and water, they're giving it to them to train, to represent their district.
Yeah,
but other than that, everybody else's
kind
district is crap.
Yeah, they kind of underlined it like other districts are better than others, more well off than others.
Right.
So the ones that are closer to that, like say they have trainings where they train these kids from the beginning and make them volunteer so they can have winners and get all the extra supplies they get for winning.
You know what I thought was funny? They go in
when they kill the little girl.
No,
that was hilarious.
It's hilarious. No, when they first go in, after they've been picked, they go to the big city and they go to floor 12, and it's like this grand, amazing suite. And they said, "Oh, since you're District 12, you get the 12th floor. Every district gets the floor, or whatever floor, or whatever the district is the floor that they get."
Right.
So one of my notes is, so District 12 gets the goddamn suite every year.
I think it's fair.
It's not.
I think it's totally
this
fair.
This district, we'll say 1, wins every goddamn year, and they get the ground floor.
It's dude. They're gonna all die. It's
true,
not fair.
But District 12 gets the goddamn suite every year,
and they get dessert.
Then they get dessert.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is where, even if the book was good, even if the book had a lot of qualities, I'm sure a lot of it was lost in this idea that, well, we can't put someone that looks hungry up there. She's got to look good in a dress. She has to be a young girl, but have enough of developing breasts that you notice them.
Oh yeah, she's got a badonkadonk butt and everything.
Yeah,
when she walks away, that thing moves.
Now, how old is she supposed to be in the film?
15. 14, 15.
Right.
Jennifer Lawrence, I think, is like 20 or 21 years old. No,
right.
Really.
So what you do is you get an overly sexual underage girl in the film. Then you put a lot of fake violence around them, and this is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's not fair to put a character in a film that's underage and make me look at her breasts. It is not fair.
You know what's funny in the video right now? I have Battle Royale on because I have your head in the top left corner because it's got subtitles and I want people to see them. Your head has been put above a couple of female bodies already, and it looks like your head is on these female bodies. Now you're on the teacher. Looks like you're the teacher now. It's pretty funny if you really think about it.
Yeah, well, I am. Yeah. No, it is not. It is not fair to make me look at what's supposed to be underage breasts, because then I feel bad. And I did not watch this film to make myself. Actually, I did watch it.
And whatever you think, it truly is on purpose.
Yeah.
Whenever you see, and this is specifically apparent with females, whether they're 10, 12, 14, doesn't matter.
What?
They're picked at such an age that they know that they'll be attractive later.
What do you mean, for acting?
For entertainment, let's put it that way. Doesn't
yes.
necessarily need to be acting, but sure, that's mostly where it happens. They pick females that they know they can market and exploit later on, that they know will grow up to be, beautiful, beautiful women.
Speaking of women,
yeah,
is it no surprise to you that a woman wrote this?
No.
I mean, let's take a look at Katniss here, okay?
Sure.
And I made notes on this because the character arc. Now, you know what a character arc is. For those in the audience who watch films but don't really know anything about storytelling, a character arc is the growth of a character through a film. Mm-hmm. So you take a character at the beginning of the film, and there's a weakness or something lacking, and throughout the course of the film, they grow as a person. They change, whether it's in a good way or bad way. The character at the end of the film is different than the character at the beginning of the film. They have been transformed by the events that have occurred.
Yep.
Now, so from the start, we have Katniss. She starts out as a strong female character who single-handedly supports her family, has a strong sense of duty, responsibility, personal sacrifice, right?
Correct.
She's already reasonably prepared for the trials and tribulations ahead of her. She's already attractive, so dressing her up is easy to do. You
Right.
don't have to do that whole, she's got her hair up and she's got glasses on. They don't even have to do that. All they do is like hose her, they literally hose her down. It's like, no, see, she cleans up real nice.
Are you supposed to make me look pretty?
Yeah.
Right.
This is bullshit. Yeah, because she was so unattractive beforehand. Then she's already equipped with a formidable hunting and survival skills, and is lucky enough to have the Hunger Games take place in a woodland environment she's already adept at surviving and interacting in.
Yes.
So
completely set up. Completely set up.
As far as I can tell, if you ignore the romance aspect, which is kind of bogus to begin with, the only real character arc, the only difference between her from beginning to end, is that she's a little less bitchy.
Yeah.
That's
the teen angst. I can't stand films that really rely on teen angst.
And it's bullshit angst too. Where it's like, I'm not good at making people like me. So
right.
Yeah, because I've seen so many people already that hate your guts. What the fuck are you talking about? Who hates this girl? Who have I seen in this film that's like, that's her again? I mean, she's not like running down the street kicking over like stalls and stuff. She's the shop person. How much for this weird gold pendant that's only going to show up twice in the film, but is a symbol of the entire series? Oh, you can have it. Yeah, she's so disliked. Everyone, only person I can think of that was hated more would be Bella in Twilight. Everyone hated her.
And the comparisons are just so great between the two in things just like that.
What? Oh, I mean, you're gonna make me look pretty. Yeah, because you're a fucking dog. But hang on a second. We'll brush your hair the other way. You're not fucking Superman. You don't just part the hair the wrong side, put a flaming dress on, and suddenly you're beautiful. There's no character arc. And you said there's no characterization to a lot of these characters. No review I've read likes the guy that plays PETA.
He's a child actor that's kind of grown up, and
he has two facial expressions: vaguely shocked and somewhat dismayed. Nothing really goes full stream with him. It's like I think it's the farthest he can move the eyebrow or the brow, which isn't far. Depends on what. You could take one of those pictures when you move it and it just changes a little bit,
right.
And that's pretty much the extent of his acting capabilities right there. I think one guy said he's about as useless as the sacks of flour he carries in the film. I like that, and the whole romance. Now, am I stepping on you?
No. I was going to just bring up something about him. About one of his skills is camouflaging himself. Which earlier in the film, he's camouflaging his hand to make it look like tree bark, and I just after I see the scene, I'm just going in my head. It's like, yeah, that's not going to come up later, and again, and when it does,
so intricate,
it's
and layered,
utterly ridiculous.
Well, even when he shows the hand, he's like, "See that? It's great." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, that only took me 7 hours." It's like it's not just like he slapped some paint on his hand. It's like he took like a prosthesis kit and he's like molding latex into these ridges. So when she finds him and he's camouflaged like into the rock, so his face. First of all, just bury yourself. You don't have to make your face part of a rock, right?
Right.
And and
how bad was his job? Because she found him very quickly.
And where the fuck did he find a mirror to tell how he's doing this? So let me get this straight. He's stabbed, wounded, half dead, and he managed to find a reflecting pool somewhere and hunch over it for hours on end.
Yeah.
Painting. Someone could have
just think about him in the makeup chair and how long that took to do the scene in the movie.
I want to see the scene, the outtake, or like the alternate version where he's like crouched over the lake trying to get the light right while he's slapping the stuff on his face, and the big guy just comes up behind him and sticks like an arrow through the back of his head. It's like, I'm not even going to use the bow. Whack! fucking idiot! What are you doing with the paint? The hell? And talk about the big guys again. Violence, right?
Yeah.
So it's a movie. It's a movie about kids killing kids. How many kids does Katniss kill?
2, I believe. 1? Definitely 1.
1.5. Directly, she kills 1.5.
Okay, that's right.
Right. Indirectly, 2.5.
Yep.
Because she knocks the hornet's nest down.
Yes.
And one of the kids dies from that.
And then she kills someone with an arrow.
Right. Only because they were attacking her first. It was self-defense. She didn't attack
Right.
them.
Exactly.
And then at the end, she kind of causes the big guy's death at the end, but that was really kind of like a stalemate situation. And even then, she doesn't she can't just shoot him and kill him. She has to like shoot him, and then he falls, and then the wild animals pull him apart. So technically, she didn't kill him.
Right.
What a pansy ass pansy wasted half ass way to make this girl survivor without actually having to do the hard stuff, which is taking a life.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
And so then we have the bad guys who they're from the richer poor communities and they're trained to be killers, so they're big and they're bad and they run around and they have evil looks and they laugh and mock the people they're killing because we have to hate them. I mean, and I've read that the book is really more in depth at how all these kids act because the book obviously has hours. Like I think the audiobook's 12 hours long.
Jesus.
So, well, it's audiobook. I mean, you read a book, it takes you more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So the book has a lot of time to develop characters. The movie's too busy showing up these grand landscapes and giving us plenty of time to drink in all these weird costumes and effeminate garb.
Right.
Because an elite society we don't like is supposed to be I guess a gender neutral society. And actually, you think about it, they really push the strong male female gender roles, and since it's a female writer, of course, the man is weaker.
Yeah. All really, of them. They all are. All of them.
Yeah. So the male, well,
even the Woody Harrelson character, he's perceived as weak.
Yeah. And Lenny Kravitz, he's not weak though. He helps her out.
He does help her out.
Yeah, but for the most part, the female is a stronger character, but it's very rigidly defined female-male roles, and the elite society we're supposed to not trust and have a dislike for as this kind of gender-neutral, blending, kind of androgynous feel. Very, I believe the Christian angle because I feel it's a little bit anti-homosexual. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but I think it's conveyed just because they're kind of using that as a symbol of people that are too wealthy and are detached from reality.
Yeah, I can see your point in that. I definitely can.
That might be a stretch, but I read a bit deeper into films. I mean, I might be wrong. I'm not trying to pull an Alex Jones here.
Real quick.
Very quick. Hurry up.
Is there anything else we can cover with this movie?
I've been talking way too much. I mean, at what point did you give up with the film?
The fact that it took an hour and 10 minutes for them to get into the fucking game. I mean, it's like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to start?
But at which point did you throw up your hands and go, shit, I'm going to be here for a while and I don't want to be here? What was the point where you realized that nothing good was going to come after that?
The train ride in. Just them talking about getting the sponsors, how they should get them. Woody Harrelson coming in drunk, and I'm just like, all right, we're 20 minutes in, and it just nothing's happening. The
goodbyes took 10 minutes.
The goodbyes took 10 minutes. Yeah, it's just all this build-up. I mean, it's just they have the prologue, so to say, where the film opens up. They give you a little info about her. She's a hunter. She's in the forest trying to get food.
Yeah.
And then she goes back, and they're going to do the lottery, and then her mother, who's an idiot. And
again, they get to the lottery fairly quick, considering. But
they
then,
do.
Again, I understand the need to be faithful to the book because, heaven forbid. But then again, they're not faithful to the book to begin with. So why pick now to be faithful? I'll tell you right now. You want to shorten up that beginning? Lose the fucking Mockingjay thing. Just just have like somebody slip it to her when she's going or whatever. Lose that whole thing where she discovers it and she's giving it for free because she's hated so much. And all you do is she's
just have Lenny Kravitz give it to her. Or Woody Harrelson say. Because Woody Harrelson he won the games at one point.
In the book, I think I read somewhere that in the book, like the mayor's daughter gives it to her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not even like they even had to invent a new way to have it given to her.
Fine.
They don't want
so
I don't lose all that shit. And then what happens is they call her name, right? Yank her ass off the street, put her in the fucking train. And just like hand on the window. Bye, everybody, and just silent crying faces waving at her.
Right.
Good. That's it. Family's fucking gone. Why are we spending 10 minutes saying goodbye to people we don't care about anymore?
Right.
Right.
Until the end of the film when she gets reunited with him. But it just
the only reason is to underline how strong of a person she is, that she has to tell the daughter what to do and tell the mother what to do, and that she has to make sure everything's set, because without her there, everything would crumble apart, because she's such a competent.
Right. Yeah. When she's ready to before she's ready to get on that train, she's like, "Don't cry," and then she just tells her, "Don't cry," and the mother's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Gee, I don't know how she's gonna have any luck, like, dominating a situation where she's up against other people.
Right.
They make her cry a couple times when they kill the little kid. Then that's supposed to show she's weak or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever.
Again, stack the chips against everybody else. Just make and then a woodland environment. Great. Yeah, I guess she's ready.
She's ready to go. And they keep telling her, grab a bow. If they don't have it, you make one.
Right.
We get it.
And then don't go for the bow. It's a death trap.
Right. It's like, grab your shit and run.
And I think the high point.
Yeah, Peter, I think he didn't grab anything. He just ran.
He's fucking, someone's run. And then he teamed up with the big guys. Yes. The two things I want to mention quickly.
Mm-hmm.
One, my point, again, talk about the whole foreshadowing thing with the trees. When she goes to her room and she can, do the flip thing and make the hologram appear on the windows.
Yes.
And she puts it in the forest because, I missed the forest. It's like, all right, you know what? You show us in the forest. She talks about living in the forest. Then you show her pining for the forest. All right, I get it. She's going to end up in a forest. Gee. And again, let's just stack the chips more in her favor. I'm surprised she won. One thing I do want to bring up, and I thought the film really falls apart here, is apparently the book, and I'm not trying to review the book, but the whole love story thing.
Yeah.
From what I read, since the book can go into the mind of the character and you can't do it in the movie because they're being watched constantly, for the most part, the whole love affair thing she has going with PETA is bullshit.
Yeah.
She knows audiences is following it, so she's faking it all along. And that's
I don't know if I buy that 100%.
Well, no, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it is in the book, is what I'm saying.
Oh, that is how it is in the book.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is in the movie, they can't even begin to do that because, one, they'd have to develop characters more. Two, they'd have to try to show what she's thinking without her acting out on it, because since they're being viewed constantly, they can't do it. So it's almost like they had to abandon the subplot that had any real kind of complicated emotional or moral standing, and just dive into the love story and just make it that. and so the complication in that relationship is gone. Mm-hmm. And now we're back at Twilight level with just the simplistic a teen love story.
Yeah.
And this is why the film industry is destroying any semblance of what's the word I'm looking for? Credibility as an artistic community. They should just hang it up and just start making $200 million pieces of shiny shit, because it's all they're doing.
Yeah, every single quarter you get at least one or two movies that cost $100 million or more. It just, and then once you hit April, May, all the way in through August, you're just billions of dollars spent on movies. Just making movies.
And I don't. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Okay, yeah, a lot of people are making money. They're giving jobs to lots of people. Whatever, that money could be spent elsewhere and still make new jobs. I'm asking, is it worth it? Even films I like, I'll watch a Lord of the Rings,
right?
Or I'll watch a movie. I can't think of one off the top of my head I like that costs a lot of money. But you go, let's say Ghost Protocol. How much was the budget of that? $100 million?
No, it was a little more, about 150.
Or $150 million. I'm watching it. It's like I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a great film. I'm saying I enjoyed it. I liked the film. I was having a good time. And I'm just thinking, is it worth $150 million to entertain me? Can we really put that high of a price tag on our casual entertainment? Are we really going down the wrong path? And I don't know if this might be dangerous ground to tread here, but I just really feel like we shouldn't be spending so much on movies. And if we stopped, maybe we'd start making some more quality films again. And money's not the root of all evil, but it sure as fuck isn't helping.
No, yeah.
And
you know what I need now? I need the sound clip of the more you know. The more you know. You never saw Saturday NBC? It would be like someone just said something intellectual and enlightening and profound, and then it would be like, the more you know. I wish I had the video. I would have the video right now playing after you just said that.
Well, now you know to have it next time, because I do have my moments.
You know what? If you want to turn that into a regular bit, like something profound, I'll make sure I have the video every week.
No, don't make me come up with something profound every episode, because I'll just repeat myself.
You do wisdom every week, so...
I've been failing on that. I have not been that good. I mean, but and you're right, too, as far as the whole... I mean, look at the franchise thing. It's gotten to the point now, like, okay, Harry Potter's steaming down. What's our next teen franchise? Oh,
and
Twilight.
This is it. This is it.
And then Twilight. And then Twilight's, okay, Twilight's near the last one. What's the next teen franchise? And it's almost like you can see it being set up in the publishing industry, too. It's like, okay, you know what? This is the next big thing. The first book sold well. We need 2 more books from you. We're going to do a trilogy. Like, it's sold like 5 years down the line. And it's becoming such a process that I don't think there's anything left of sincerity once it's done. I'm not saying that she didn't sit down to write a good book when she wrote the first one.
Right.
I'm not saying that the second and third ones suck. What I'm saying is by the time by the time it stops being just a book and becomes a franchise, that's the focus of it. The focus is no longer the work of art or the work of entertainment. The focus is the franchise, and that's where it all becomes what we just saw. Because they didn't make this without thinking ahead as, okay, here's the franchise we're setting up. So we're not watching a film. We're not watching an adaptation of a book. We're watching part 1 of a 10-step franchise phase, or phase 1 of a 10-step franchise. And I can't take it anymore. I'm sorry.
No, I tend to agree with things like that. So, I think we've exhausted this episode.
Yeah, I've exhausted you. I apologize. I apologize. It's one of those episodes where you just can't shut up. We get it.
I think we should
move on.
You know what?
What?
In all of my my infinite wisdom here, setting up the show ahead of time, I never put in our ending music.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing it now.
You know what I just noticed? We just did a 2-hour episode, and my camera has not changed to widescreen once.
Yeah, well, don't jinx us.
Sorry.
It's okay. All right, I'm playing the ending music now, so.
Oh, good.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Moviesucktastic, episode 71. Mm-hmm. Tune in next week when we will be reviewing Van Helsing. Judging by my co-host's face, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
A lot of notes.
If we haven't said it recently, please go to iTunes and give us some reviews. They help out the show a ton. The more reviews we get there, the more people we get listening, and that's always a good thing.
Yes.
We just got a new 5-star review.
Don't do it.
No, I'm just saying we just got a new 5-star review just today.
It's a great review, but it's bad form to quote your good reviews, sir.
I wasn't going to quote it. I was just saying that we got another review, and that is just an example of why everyone should go there and do that.
By all means, please, you got to help us spread the word.
Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. You can download all of our episodes there directly. You can listen to them directly there as well. You can
watch us directly.
You can watch us on there. Well, actually, no, that's a live feed only. You can't choose individual episodes from the website. You can.
But you can watch us live.
You can watch us live. If you want to see the episodes, all of the episodes that we have, you go to livestream.com/moviesucktastic, and then you can watch anything that we've posted there.
That's livestream.com/moviesucktastic.
You can also leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You care
what it is.
Yeah, you don't care. We'll play it. We'll read your emails that you can send us at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. Go to our lunch.com community. write reviews there. If you do, we will read them on the show.
And I'm hopefully going to have a Moviesucktastic review of the Hunger Games up there by the end of the week.
Very cool.
I think I'll have some time this weekend to get that up there.
Very cool.
We need to start getting the written reviews back up there, and I'll take care of that.
All right.
I'll rip that up, sir.
I've
already got a page of notes.
You got anything else?
Oh yeah, you can listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to us on Podcast Pickle Podcast. Are we even talking about those guys anymore? Are we still pushing that?
Yeah. The links are on the site.
You can listen to us on Podcast Pickle, Podcast Pup. You can listen to us on Zune, Stitcher.
They're still
Stitcher
kicking
on
around.
your what?
Mevio. You can listen to us on Mevio.
I'm not done with Stitcher. You can listen to Stitcher on your cell phone or in your BMW, or on your cell phone in your BMW if you want it. What?
Smartphone.
Same thing.
It's not.
If you don't have a smartphone and I said cell phone, you're immediately thinking, I can't listen to that on my cell phone. So you know what I'm talking about.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you next week.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we will. We'll talk to you. You'll listen. You'll shut up and listen.
That's right.
Right.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hunger Games. Leave me hungry.